So for the knot method, again, you just want a small amount. You don't want a big, bulky. So that's a little bit thicker than I'd like, so I'm going to take some out. And it's the same as if you were going to do knot hair. And you make your little knots. This one's quite small, so I'm actually going to double knot it. Then get your scissors and just trim as close as possible to the knot. So for the knot method, you don't need the super long bit, so you need enough to double over to pull up through the head. So I'm going to cut this one about there. And obviously you're going to have to make a few. So I've done 4. You're going to need some cotton. I always use a contrasting colour to the colour of hair that I'm either rerouting with or doing eyelashes with. So double it over, take your needle and just pop your loop through. With the knot method, you can start from either side. I wouldn't recommend starting in the middle. I like to start on one end and then move across. So going the outer edge, down the neck, pull it out, hold on to your cotton and let your loop go. If you open your loop, and pop your eyelash through, then you simply drop the cotton and pull it up, and that's in. So, and that's as easy as that. Again, thread, so you've got your loop, go into your next available space, come down, let your needle off, open up your loop, pop your eyelash through. I always tend to put the knot in between my fingers and then pull up. So, and you can see them going in. Like I say, this way is the longer way, but I'm a creature of habit, so this is my personal preference. So pull it through, drop your end, open up your loop, hold on to your hair and pull it up. And you do that all the way across. So I'm just going to make up a couple more. Again, try and keep them about the same thickness. So tie your knot. Trim off the excess. If you want to, sometimes just for quickness, you can just knot the whole strand periodically. So, and then cut them above each knot. So you've now got 4 more ready to go in. And later on what we'll do is we'll also post up a discount code so that you can use it in the shop if you're short of supplies or there's anything you need. We'll sort that out for you shortly. So anybody in watching the tutorial today can come in and grab a discount. So in through the eye, down the neck, open up your loop, pop in your eyelash, and pull it up. Yeah, if you don't like obviously poking it up this way through the neck hole to try and find the holes if you're doing the sewing method, this way gives you much more control over where they're going, and you're also not stabbing the inside of the head. So, and as you can see, this way does take longer. Open up your loop. Pop it through. Pull it up. It's exactly like rerouting with the knot method. It does take time. And I'm actually putting in really, really fine ones on this one. And I always find things much easier if somebody shows you what you're doing, as opposed to reading it in a booklet or just having a bash. And you get the little hints about using things like baby nail clippers too. Both ways that you do it, make sure that your plugs are roughly the same size. So for example, if I do one and I'll just show you. So this one's going to be thicker. So I'm going to put in a thicker one, so you'll see the difference and why it's quite important to get them pretty much all the same size, or as close to. So you can see if you put in a bigger one, it just looks odd. So that's why you do need to be careful about getting them all roughly the same size. But just for quickness, I'm going to just put in some thick ones because I'm going to take all of these out again anyway. So if you need to see where they're going or where you want them, just let those strands go and you can see where you've got a gap. It just makes it easier to see. Choose where you're going to fill and then just pin those bits against the head again. So again, you can see the gap. once they're in and trimmed, both methods pretty much leave the same effect. It's down to personal preference as to which way you do them. Pop one more into the corner. Alright, I'm going to take that out, because as I'm moving the cotton I can feel that I picked up one of the knots in behind, so there, so that went through smoothly. You can feel that it hasn't picked up any of the other knots. Otherwise, when you pull it through, you're going to take out one you've already put in. And so again, you can choose to use your baby nail clippers or some small scissors. Oh, I don't like those. Let's swap to a different pair. And this side I've left slightly longer, as opposed to the ones I cut shorter on the other side. So you can change the shape or the length. And if I turn it this way, you can see the difference just there. You can see the difference between the thinner plugs and the thicker plugs, and that's why you need to make sure your plugs are pretty much the same thickness. Because unlike the sewing method where you can guarantee it, when you're putting them in individually, it does look a lot different if you have the different thicknesses. So that's it. That's all there is to it.